Tonight, today we're going to be talking Love Island, UK. My name's Will DeFries. In the studio with me today, the human daybed himself, Dave Ruff.
Did you say daybed or Dave bed? You could have done either.
I know. I was tossing around in my head before the pod. I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go.
Yeah, they call me the terrace.
The terrorist?
Yeah, the terrace. It's just, I don't know. That's something we should have worked out
I don't
before.
know. I feel like once you get a
enough
reputation for going to the terrace a lot, like you start to become
Tom?
like... Yeah, like you
Fucking
start to get
Tom.
like just raked over the coals from people because people just don't want you going to the terrace at all times.
Tom's still up on that terrace.
They should name it after him.
Yeah, they should.
The Tom Memorial Terrace.
Three different women, right?
I think so. In pretty quick succession.
Shout out. Oh yeah, it's just me and Will today. We're gonna talk Love Island.
Yeah, we don't have Dylan today. Dylan's just at the beach in Chacos.
He's
Looking absolutely diced up.
He's got his chocks on.
He could go on Love Island and be a problem. He's just a little older than some of the other contestants.
Yeah, by at least a decade. What's the oldest? 30? Dylan's
I think the
how old is Dylan?
oldest contestant I've ever heard on there is 30.
Dylan's 41.
Dylan's, I think he's 42 now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't hate that.
Can you imagine him talking to like, what's her face, the
Amber?
19-year-old on this
No,
season?
No, in fact, I can't imagine anyone.
No one's
because
talking to her.
She must have nothing to say because she's a very cute girl and no one is really ever. Scott, we'll get to Scott in a minute. Scott just basically dunked on her as he had to choose her. In the recouple.
I made the decision yesterday while eating lunch. I had a Ross Bowl in lunch yesterday. It was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with some Zapp's Voodoo chips.
Oh.
And half of a peach. And I ate that lunch while watching Unseen Bits because I had nothing else to do. And what I discovered is that, unfortunately, I think I always forget her name because she's such an NPC on this show at this point. What's her name? The
Amber.
19-year-old. Amber. Amber just needs some time. She needs to get some reps in because she has no place on this show. She's still uncomfortable. They did a thing during Unseen Bits where they had each character in the confessional impersonate celebrities. What she did was an abomination.
Who'd she impersonate?
No one that we would have even known. And she did such a bad job that like I can't believe they even included her in the montage. Do you know who guess who the best person at impersonations is?
Jess.
For the females, New Ella. For the males, by far, Scott.
Oh, really? Did they do anyone we know?
Scott does a Conor McGregor that if you shut your eyes, you would just think it's Conor McGregor. Which makes sense because I guess it'd be easier for them
He's
to do
Welsh,
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right?
Who? Scotty?
Isn't Scott Welsh?
Scotty too hottie? Yeah, I think so.
No, not that Connor's Welsh, but just...
It's like
I'm not
us doing a Southern accent. We probably know intricacies that like
Yeah.
we wouldn't know about the intricacies of like a British accent or
Right,
an
right,
Irish
right.
accent.
Okay, Scott. I mean, they need to show more of that. I guess that's what Unseen Bits is for because, even to this point, it's like Scott, fine, just doesn't seem like he's got much, but people really, really like Scott over there.
Well,
As
yeah,
we'll find
they sent his two oppositions home.
They fucking got rid of his ops.
They cut their heads off and
They
just
had
ruthlessly and just sent them home packing.
He threw an absolute shot at movie night at Leah, and then Leah is gone like 2 days later.
What was the squad's consensus on that shot that he took at Leah that night on last week's episode? I unfortunately did not listen.
Hated that it was Leah.
Yeah.
I was not 100% sure that she was deserving of that. I don't feel like she wasn't the only one, or maybe the one at all, saying,
Okay.
none of the girls wanted you. That being said, I was glad to see like him buck up a little bit and show something.
I liked the spice that he offered there.
I'm glad he did it.
I feel bad. I did like Leah, but I also think that Leah and Montel, I did think their days were kind of numbered regardless.
Yeah, it seemed like the vibe changed after Casa, after movie night. Even though it didn't seem like Montel did anything too bad, but also he was really awkward and like owning up to it, and it took him a long time. And it's just, yeah, it seemed like Leah was a little bit one foot out the door on him.
It also seemed like Montel did not know how to handle a situation where he was getting called out for things that he did on video and
Yeah.
didn't have an answer for.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Where should we start today? How do we want to go about this? We have a lot to cover, Dave.
We could just
We really are going to be starting today at the movie night fallout.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot. I think it started with the guys confronting Mitch a little bit on what they saw at movie night. That's something we didn't see in that episode, but we saw it this week was, Zach and Sammy kind of being like, "Hey man, you're moving like snakes." Snake boy, I believe is the term Zach used. Which
Man
isn't a
like
good
that,
isn't
I
a good
think, are
insult.
bottom of the barrel. I'll be honest. Using another brother's name to pull up your own ting, that's crazy, Tyreek.
Yeah.
And that's facts. I think
think
I did that early high school. I'll admit, like I think I was honing my game at that point. I think I might have torn down some of the homies once in a while,
I've
and I
definitely
think I
done
learned
that in
from
high
it.
school.
Yeah,
I think everybody does that in high school. That's kind of something you got to learn the hard way on that kind of code.
yeah, yeah. It takes one call out from someone on it to straighten you out, and I feel like Mitch got that call out. Um, I I don't know. Like Mitch, he did apologize to everybody.
I thought his apology was great. I thought he handled it very well and seemed genuine. He's just kind of a dum dum.
I'm officially on Team Mitch, I guess. Like, I don't want him to leave. He's our lovable idiot.
I don't want him to leave either. We'll get to where he's at now, and I've got some issues. But that being said, I did not want a rift to develop between Zach,
No.
Sammy, and Mitch because for some reason the show's more enjoyable when there's like squads when there's for a dude watching it when there's a bro squad developing, it's just a lot more fun.
So this year's squad, it really starts and ends with the two best friends being Sammy and Tyreek, right?
I think it's hard to pin down. It's not as defined as Tom and Casey and
But like when Sammy was going through it on the Jets front, which like I don't even know what part it was of their going through it. Like their situation has
exhausting.
gotten so convoluted that I don't know where to start.
They're exhausting, dude.
But like Tyreek, all the dudes were huddled around, and Tyreek was like, "Everyone out of here! I gotta talk to Sammy."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Okay, I love this. I love that Tyreek is just clearing everybody out."
yeah, he's got to have some one-on-one time.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought Mitch handled it well. Apologized. Still looks like an ass, but it's funny how his status and how the entire dynamic between him and the guys has changed as he's got like two women interested in him.
Yeah.
It's a first as a guy who went from having none.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Uzi and Katie linking up.
Do you believe them?
Yes.
I don't believe them.
I believe it's a 2-horse race right now to win this thing, and they are one, and the other is Zach and Molly.
See, I think Zach and Molly haven't made in the shade.
I think they're the odds-on favorite, but
Why really? Katie and Uzi?
no. I think Zach and Molly are the favorites.
No, but you think
Oh.
Katie and Uzi are still like up there?
Yeah, just because they're both very beautiful people, and they've just kind of taken a back seat this week.
Okay.
Outside of Katie's cheers, her toast that we'll get to in a minute, but they're it seems like they're staying out of it, and I don't see them having any. I think them having a smooth ride to the end. They're definitely going to be top 3.
I'm learning quickly, and this was really after the two Scott naysayers went home. I'm learning quickly that I didn't have as good of a read on the British voting as I thought I did.
Yeah,
Like I didn't have
me.
them riding for Scott as hard as they're seemingly riding for Scott. I didn't have them being anti Leah and Montel.
dude.
I feel like that's a Montel play.
Yeah, I was that was surprising. I don't know, man. That came out of nowhere because you had the other couple. I mean, you had other couples standing up that could have been sent home. Jess and Sam. I would have been surprised if they got sent home.
I would have been surprised too. I think she's well liked enough that like she can carry out his kind of fuckboy energy every once in a while. I don't think he's a total fuckboy, but like he definitely has been leaving himself open for way too long, considering how likable Jess is and how blunt she's been about wanting to be with him.
Their back and forth is so
The
exhausting.
producers are just putting him through it too. Like, it's not being made easy on them with a lot of other stuff, but like the producers even are just making it hard on them. They can't be together for more than like 2 nights.
Yeah,
They didn't sleep in a bed together until after Casa Amor, if I'm not mistaken,
I think that's right. Yeah,
which is crazy.
that's wild.
They've been together since like almost the beginning.
Facts.
Word.
Randy's just texting on.
No,
there.
dude, I
Got
think
him.
is it Randy? Is Love Island? I've asked you this before. Is Love Island better or worse than The Bachelor? Or the exact same? Because all this just foreign to you.
Probably the exact same.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Bachelor was kind of fun with you guys dunking on the guys more. You only really
Yeah, I
dunking
feel
on
like we
Mitch.
like the guys more on Love
Yeah.
Island, and we like to dunk on the guys more.
We
on
dunked on
Bachelor.
Mitch quite a bit. Dylan mainly.
But I'm like back. I'm in on Mitch now. I'm like now I want the best for Mitch because I'm not ready for him to go home.
Agree. We got to talk about the recoupling, which I guess happens episode 42, the second one that we're going to get to. But, we've had a lot of bad. Mitch again goes back to him. A lot of bad speeches when it comes time to recouple. Mitch had his about. I think it was it Leah? Who was it? He said
I don't even remember.
and her great body. It was just awkward.
It was
He's just
creepy.
awkward. Well, Scott, the last person he could pick was Amber.
Amba.
And this is after he had been fancying Abby. And obviously Mitch picked Abby. So he is like, all right, well, obviously I'm taking Amber. But just the way he went about that was you could have at least dressed it up and been positive about it. He sounded so dry and so bummed.
Was this a speech where he said like, and obviously this is just gonna be a friend thing?
Yeah,
like obviously.
Yeah, he said he wished he could have picked someone else, which is hilarious.
Because he wanted to pick Abby, correct?
Yeah.
So he's pretty H for Abby.
He was, and we'll see what happens now. But yeah, Scott's got to do better.
This is also the episode where we have Molly. Or no, was it the episode before? Or is it this episode? It's all in the same time, all in the same area, where Molly tells Katie that she and Zach are totally closed off. But as it turns out, Zach and Molly have not had that conversation yet.
Yeah, we learned the next one after Katie does her toast. It goes off the rails a little bit at the end for some reason. Yeah, Zach wasn't real sure about that. Zach's reaction was not what you're looking for.
Can we talk about Zach and Molly just in general, just as an entity of this show? Because I think that they might have the single easiest road to being likable and being famous than any other couple I've ever seen on this show before.
It kind of feels that way.
Like, so right when the show debuted, season 10, Molly got a ton of endorsements in the UK. Like she was already getting contracts for stuff because like modeling contracts, whatever. And apparently she set a record. I don't know who's doing the record keeping there, but apparently she did. I think they like buxom blondes. That makes sense. She's very beautiful.
Yeah.
When they sent her away, that was ruthless at the time, but everyone then felt bad for her because she got sent away so ruthlessly. So we got the pity play with her. Then they bring her back in Casa Amor, which obviously she's going to get back with Zach because they had a good thing going. So it took all the temptation away from Zach in Casa Amor, which took all the unlikability possibilities away from him in Casa Amor.
Yeah.
So now he's just been essentially in a couple after going through a couple girls in the beginning and sorting through everything. He's just been coasting ever since. It's the easiest route I've ever seen on Love Island.
I feel like he's I'm happy for him, I guess, but at the same time, I want him to be used differently. I don't think he's being used to his full potential in this offense, is what I'm saying. Because he was really fun when he was mixing it up, grafting, things of that nature. But now you kind of forget about him. Like I feel like last night's episode, he was barely in it.
No, they're barely in it at all.
Yeah.
And they're kind of going with the I forget his name. The guy who won last season in Sanam.
Oh. Yeah, we forgot his name last week too.
He's boring as fuck. That's why we forget his name.
We definitely forgot it last week.
The reason they won was because they were clearly so into one another that they didn't care about anybody else and they stopped talking to everybody else. And they were just like lovey-dovey and in it to win it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing now with Zach and Molly, which is fine, I guess. She was pretty good at her impersonations, but I think she had a very British repertoire.
Isn't she an actress?
Yeah, I don't know
So
if
she
she's like
should
an
be.
actual actress. or if she's just like doing like modeling stuff.
Okay.
But she was pretty good at hers. I was looking forward to seeing hers based on what we know about
I
her.
need to watch that.
Let's talk Shade Challenge.
This is a good challenge. One of the best they do on the show, I think.
A lot of people
Mm.
went the Scott and Amber route.
Mainly the Scott route, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I get. I also feel like in this challenge, people kind of like chose one person and then latched onto that. And we're like, well, I don't want to rock the boat by like diversifying who I'm throwing shade at.
Yeah. The Uzi, Katie, Tyreek, Ella dynamic was, I thought that was going to get pretty juicy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's since died down.
obviously Tyreek's going to want to throw shade at Uzi.
Uzi's handled this thing like completely respectfully.
Yeah, he has.
He's been the opposite. Who is the dude that, Shaq's nemesis?
Oh, I don't
That,
remember.
from Casa that she brought back.
Yeah.
That guy like was leaning into it and was like enjoying, the fact that Shaq was squirming.
That guy might have just been a prick.
I think he kind of was.
Yeah, I think he turned out to just kind of be an asshole.
But yeah, Uzi just seems like a nice guy.
Our notes here, we have Uzi and Katie. Then they throw it at Tyreek and Ella, saying that Tyreek has flirted with every girl in the villa and Ella recoupled despite being closed off. And then later in the challenge, each couple has to balance this on a surfboard, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
That was terrible.
And then Katie tried to throw a shot and said, maybe you should put that much effort into your relationship, which I feel like she thought that was her mic drop moment. And it just wasn't. I don't know. I just think Katie's doing a lot, and it's not playing too well.
No, Katie came out hot this week with that. You could tell she's competitive, but then as we'll get to the next night, the toast.
What a pointless pot to stir.
That was a shot. That was absolutely passive aggressive, right?
Yeah.
That was a condescending toast.
It was not ignorant, like, or not ignorant's not the word. It was not innocent and like sporadic, like she would want you to believe.
Right.
Like she was doing it to make people be like, what the fuck? I almost feel like the producer said like, hey, you should make a toast and say something about this.
I wondered that. We've kind of wondered if, the whole time that if she's the most likely to be a producer plant, or at least someone who's like getting the most information from them. She's been through it before.
She kind of operates like Jess from last season to me. And I also felt like Jess was a producer plant last season.
Yeah.
I think Jess was sent in just to be with Will and keep him around. But I think that like Katie, like especially if you've already been on a season, like that's someone that you can have manipulate what's going on inside the villa.
Sure.
They know what they're doing. They're comfortable.
Why does Zach care so much that people know they're exclusive or not?
I don't know.
Like, bro, he's not getting his head turned.
No, and
there's no way.
Yeah, and if Zach would be an idiot to not just like shut it down at this point.
If something happened and it would be the biggest shock I've ever seen on this show.
I'd be like, what?
In the 2 seasons I've watched.
It is always kind of funny. There's always, or most seasons at the end of the season, they always have like one dude who decides just to go rogue. And it always backfires.
It looks like Mitch.
They get the horniness.
It kind of looks like Mitch right now.
Dude, but Mitch he hasn't been settled with like anybody totally.
No. You're right. 2 weeks with Abby, including Casa. And we'll just jump right to that because I feel like that's kind of been the marquee event of the week.
What?
Is the Mitch situation.
Yes. The
Mitchuation is what some are calling it, not me.
The Mitchuation has really come to fruition. Well, now we have, okay, before we get to that, actually, let's note that we did have the ruthless dumping of Catherine Ellum this same night.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had Montel and Leah go home in the same group that was getting voted on with Sammy and Jess and Katie and Uzi. I told Sally before it's Montel and Leah for me. I didn't want them to go home necessarily I thought Katie and Uzi probably should have gone home. But I told her, like, the producers don't want Montel and Leah here. They're the quietest couple on camera. Like, they're not really succeeding that well at this point. I think they're going to go home, and I think the public might be able to see that.
Did you like his poem?
Why do these guys do, like, grand gestures from, like, the terrace and act like they're, like, set for the rest of the season?
He thought he was, and then they sent him home. That's a tough scene.
I said to you and Dylan that after movie night, I had a new least favorite person on the show, and it was Catherine. Because I thought the way that she operated in movie night, taking zero responsibility for what she did, not showing any apology for anything. I was just like, what? Like, you could just take a little responsibility and say that you had your head turned, but instead you're like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
It came across as weird, and because it just doesn't match what I've seen from Scott.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this. Like, maybe there's more to it. You know, people didn't necessarily believe that Scott really liked Catherine, and maybe there was some truth to that, but it doesn't really come out in the show, at least what they're showing us. So yeah, it was a little bizarre, and I thought people just don't handle. Have we ever seen anybody recouple from in Casa and come back and handle it right, like to their former sig of?
No, not really.
It's always just defend, like Liv. I think of Liv last year. I'm thinking of Ella this year.
Yeah.
Catherine this year.
The people that do it well, both parties never handle it well. There's always one party that gets really angry.
Yeah.
It's never both people that just are like, you know what? Maybe we're great for each other. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to go down the Abbey Road right now. Not doing a Beatles pun right
Abbey
now
Road,
either.
he did it.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yep.
Famously, Paul McCartney alive and well.
Abbey Road mutuation.
Well, I thought these two were going to be there till the end.
I kind of did too.
I thought it was a cute couple. You kind of get a little redemption from Mitch. Abby seems very sweet, fun.
But then she got her head turned. She started entertaining Scott when Scott started entertaining her.
She did.
And I feel like she's not getting enough chatter about how turned her head was at the time based on where we currently are in this situation.
She did a personal training session with him.
I think that outside of like cuddling and physical touch and hooking up in this villa, one of the most flirtatious things you can do is a couple's workout.
Yeah, like
if you see your girl planking and making eye contact with a Welsh professional soccer player who has like really, really sexy eyes, like it's over for you.
And keep in mind, this is all while Mitch is on a date, not his decision.
Correct.
From one of the new bombshells.
Correct.
Ella,
she didn't want
too.
She didn't want to work out in front of Mitch the day before because it would have mugged him off. But the second he leaves the villa, she'll do it behind his back with no questions asked.
Yeah. I am completely shocked that the Ella 2 and Mitch thing has gone off like it has. I just didn't see it. I don't trust her.
I don't trust
the Tyreek stuff. She was way too.
I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out with her.
I like that she's there.
I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I have to admit that I do like her more after watching Unseen Bits. Like really? I actually think she's entertaining. I think that the way that Ella, old Ella, is treating new Ella, I think it's completely like out of bounds.
Yeah, I didn't think the battle of the Ella's line was anything that needed to be confronted. She was clearly joking.
Yes,
like, making a stupid like.
That was an icy exchange in the bedroom.
Yes, it was.
When, like the camera view made it so much more intense on Ella's face because it was so close up on her. She just looked like she was a deer in the headlights the entire time. I think that if they could have had that back, they would have placed the camera a little farther away on the wall.
Yeah. My first read on Ella 2 is that she is just absolutely there to cause trouble. She is there. Yes. She is an absolute. Her little line that she said like 6 times that I always get what I want is.
Then Mitch is like, really?
You're literally talking about me.
Literally me. It's literally me.
You literally want me. I will say that Mitch is correct that her vibe is way chill. Like
New Ella?
Yeah. She does a lot, but like she never really, she's not like Jess. She's the opposite of Jess, basically, is what I'm saying.
I get the feeling that, I think Jess is pretty chill.
But Jess seems more like out there and like
type A.
Raise her voice a little bit. Type A.
I get it. Like she's a little more extroverted than new Ella. That makes sense. I feel like she's playing the part a little bit. She is playing the bombshell part. She's got some lines in there that are really trying to, spice things up and everything. But I think she's net positive overall. Like, I think she's coming in at a time where it's really hard to turn anyone's head at all without being a little seductive and a little over the top. I think Mitch is the perfect person to do that to.
Yeah, he's a puppy dog.
Like, I think that if she could have had her pick of anyone in the villa, like, she would have gone for, like, a Zach or something. But at this point in the game, she knows that she kinda just has to go with Mitch, and that's what she's doing.
Why did what do you think about Ty's comment when they're reflecting on their previous kiss before the show, saying it's a shame that'll be the last one? I mean, how do you read into that?
It's so unnecessarily horny.
Because when I heard him say it originally, I did not think he was like, canceling it out, like put a clamp on it. I read it like it wasn't like, oh, that's a shame, that'll be the last one. It was more like shame. It was more flirtatious.
Yeah,
because it's Ty,
it was
and everything he
flirtatious.
does is flirtatious.
It was flirtatious. It was unnecessarily flirtatious.
Dude. And oh my god,
He didn't need to put himself out there like that. Like, that's one of those moments where, like, I feel like if I was on Love Island and I said something like that to an old flame, I'd be like, 2 seconds later, I'd be like, hey, can we cut that out? Like, cut that out.
How mad would you be if you were Ella One and the producer sent in someone from the guy you've been with, his past, and he leaves for her?
How did they find her? Did they just go to like a club that like is near his place and just be like, have you made out with Tyreek? Hey, have you made out with Tyreek? Have you made out with Tyreek?
Probably wasn't too hard to find those people.
That's true. That's true. Tyreek does have a deep roster.
Just go knock on your neighbor's door.
He's got a deeper roster than like
anyone I know,
like any NFL team
combined.
Yeah.
He does, and his little shit-eating grin, where he knows he's stirring some shit up a little bit, is so funny to me.
He's awesome. He is absolutely awesome. He did something, I don't know if this was last week or this week, but he did something that I meant to bring up on the pod where he says, it was after a public vote where Sammy was in the bottom, and he goes and sits down with Sammy, and he said something to the effect of, well, it's good to know that the British public likes me. And then he slapped Sammy on the leg and said, can't say the same for you, bruv. And I was just like, why'd you have to do him like that?
Yeah.
But he was just cracking up that like no one likes Sammy.
Yeah.
Can't say the same. No, he said, can't say the same for you, big man.
Big man.
It's just tough. Like, you can't be Sammy sitting there. You can't sleep in the same bed with your girl anymore. And you're just like out getting hung out to dry.
It's so good.
Let's see. What else do we got? Okay, so with the whole Abby situation, Abby has gone through this entire thing with Scott. And then once new Ella comes in and turns Mitch's head a little bit, takes him on a date, and Mitch says like it actually went pretty well, then she starts hanging her hat on being like, I'm not going to get mugged off by having him talk to some other girl in this villa. And it's like, well, you literally just did this. I don't understand why it's not a two-way street for you here.
Yeah. She's really failing to see that.
And she pushed him away so much by clinging to this.
And this, the big distinguishing factor here, Abby wanted to go talk to Scott. Mitch just got picked for that date.
Yeah.
Like there's another world where she picks somebody else, and Mitch and Abby, he maybe never talks to Ella 2.
Oh, dude, I think that's 100% the case. If he's not on that first date, he and Ella 2 never get involved.
Yeah.
And Ella's with someone else, and like it's not a big deal. But instead, Abby just clung to it, and now has just forced him away. The worst thing that could possibly happen to you on Love Island happened to her. She got labeled with the ick.
I have not seen a lady get labeled with the ick yet.
Dude.
This is a first for me, and I felt bad for her, but she did it to herself.
Is there anything worse than getting that label on this show?
No, and I like how frankly they talk about it. She's like, well, that means it's done. Once you got the ick, you can't, and Mitch even said, no, well, maybe, it's not like 100% ick, but it's, we're trending.
There's no coming back.
Yeah.
And they know that. Like when Mitch is saying like, it might not be total ick. Like he knows that if he gives her that title, it's going to be with her reputation forever. It's like being called a creep, dude.
Yeah.
Once you call someone a creep, that's going to stick with them for way longer than it needs to.
Call a lady ick. Say she's got the ick. That's just, I'm not used to that.
If I heard that, like, I started thinking back once Abby got the ick thing, I started thinking back to like old girls that like didn't continue with me. And I started thinking about like, oh man, I gave her the ick for sure.
Yeah.
I probably gave her the ick.
Yeah.
I gave her the ick for sure.
Shout out to
though.
all the ladies we've given the ick to in
Yeah.
our years,
Yeah. The ick click.
including our wives.
Yeah. What's the biggest ick thing that like you do with Alyssa?
Oh, usually when she walks out in the living room and I'm like, I've got like my record player spinning a record and I'm just fucking high.
You're
as
just
shit.
high as shit, just
Yeah.
sitting in your chair.
Yeah. She's like, what the fuck?
I made Sally stand mute cancel my like interests the other day. She didn't love this.
Is it golf?
I told her, I was like, stand mute cancel my recent interests.
Mm.
She goes, okay, what is it? And I said, golf, Manchester United, and Grateful Dead.
Mm.
And it was tough on her. I could tell she wanted to cancel golf, but she didn't want to go down that road.
I could see golf giving a lot of girls the ick because you come back, you put on your polo and you tuck it into your khaki shorts.
Golf style is the worst.
It's the worst. And you come back, and if you live in Central Texas, you come back and you're just covered head to toe. So not only are you back 5.5 hours later, but you have to shower. You can't do anything until you shower. You can't go meet the fam at fucking Abuelos or something.
No, you can't.
Because you stink.
You can't.
It's just yeah.
Whatever, dude. We don't need. I told Sally that there's very few things in life that get me together with a group of friends for 5 hours straight, like golf, and it's not going away anytime soon. She ended up, I think, muting it.
The boys, Randy. What don't you understand about that?
Dude, can we get a meet update, Randy? I thought you got
a meat update.
Yeah, what'd you think? Did you think I said meet update?
I did.
I thought you like.
I thought you had something
I thought
on the
you wanted me
smoker.
to like schedule a meetup right now. I'm like, all right, that's sure.
Wait, pick your date.
Oh, a meet update. Yeah, that's good too. That's good too.
Oh yeah, we got.
Let's have a meetup and we serve your mead.
the meetup.
Let's do a ticketed thing.
No, too much chance of him poisoning people.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
What?
Accidentally.
No. The strawberry mead is fully bottled, little sweet. It's good. I got an Arnold Palmer one going and a pina colada one going too right now.
Do you bottle these in like a big jug? You a big jugs guy, or you do little bottles?
It's a mix too. I got some big bottles and some small bottles, so I can bring some small bottles in.
Just say it, Randy. You got big jugs. You got big jugs of mead.
I got big old jugs of mead.
Let's go.
I want to try it. I think we need to have a mead party.
I'll try it.
I got the need for mead.
Bring it up to the office.
Where are we at? We've got. Let me see. I'm just reading our notes here. Shout out to Blakey Locks, by the way. Blakey Locks, who does a lot of our, he does some research stuff for us. He makes some graphics for us for the pod. He's been an absolute king throughout this entire process. He went macro viral this weekend, or this past weekend on Twitter, and my mentions have not been the same all week.
So I saw that tweet when he first tweeted y'all.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh yeah, cool. I even watched the video. I was like, damn, yeah, he does shred. And then and it had a little bit of action. Nothing, not even like anything that would let me know that this has a chance.
Yeah,
looked at it like that night, and I was like, my God,
yeah. He went certified
numbers
viral. He tweeted a video of John Mayer playing guitar, and it was doing numbers even before Big Cat retweeted it. And then after that, like it was just doing even more numbers.
Are there a lot of people? I was looking at the replies. Are there some people who didn't realize that John Mayer is like a world-class guitar player?
Dude, all I have done all week, Dave. I muted the conversation for about an hour, and then I was like, wait, I don't want to mute this. I want to see people being assholes in this comment section. And it was a bunch of people. It's a bunch of dudes arguing about whether or not John Mayer is like worthy of the conversation of being one of the GOATs right now. So it's all dudes arguing, and the dudes that are anti are all just like grumpy music snobs.
Because they can't get past Your Body's a Wonderland.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I get it, but like his proficiency and how he can play like a blues riff is very, very, very elite.
I don't care technically speaking. Like I don't know what a technically good guitar player is supposed to be.
I think it's him.
But from a satisfaction perspective, if you can watch like him play live and not feel like there's something satisfying about him doing it, then like I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
That's crazy, man. No, I've heard like other like really, really in the scene music people talk about him, and they're like, they were surprised to learn how good he was because they just thought of him as like the
It's great.
running through the halls of his high school guy.
Yeah, people are like, he's just impersonating Jerry Garcia, and I'm like, yeah, he's doing a really good job.
That's
too.
not easy to do.
Yeah. Normally, if people can do that, normally they can be successful in life.
Oh man.
So I have some general talking points from this week of episodes that I would like to just toss out to you, Dave.
Okay.
I had the Zach and Molly Easy Road that I just think that they've been just getting a charmed life lately. The Abby's pipeline. I think one of the most surprising things from this season or from this recent stuff is just how much the public clearly loves Scott.
Yeah.
Scott to be with Amber and not get voted into the bottom couples is crazy town.
How much of that is Scott, football player? They all know him, or not? They don't all know him, but somewhat reputable, right?
I don't know. I have no clue who he
And
plays for.
Amber's dad.
I fancy myself to watch a lot of English soccer. I am not familiar with her dad hardly at all.
He's of note on the English national team in the early 90s. I checked it out. So I think he is a known name.
I need to do my research on him. Oh, Dennis Wise. Okay, I take it back. I thought her last name was something totally different. I've admittedly not really paid attention to her very much on the show. Like when her storyline starts to unfold, that's when I usually start to pick up my phone accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Chelsea.
But yeah, I wondered how much that factored into people and their allegiances. But that could work the other way if it's people who hate Chelsea.
Yeah.
He played for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It looked like he had a Blackburn Rovers jersey on, but I also don't know I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
Ella and Whitney's friendship, since Catherine has gone, has started to amuse me a little bit. Something that Ella and Whitney have started doing, and I don't know how clear this is unless you're paying attention to it, they've really been just telling it like it is to people when they've been spouting dumb shit off.
When Jess comes over after like her, fourth argument with Sammy.
Yeah.
I like how blunt Ella is with them and Whitney for that matter.
They've been great. I admittedly did not like Ella and Whitney for a period of time. I think it was Casa Amor when they were both kind of acting up a little bit. I kind of enjoy them right now because they are just being very blunt. When Abby started talking about Scott, like Whitney just looked at her and was like, "You have no ground to stand on. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like you've just been with Scott this entire time."
Yeah.
But she wasn't doing it in like a contentious way, like I'm gonna jump down your throat. It was more like laughing it off, like, "No, Abby, you can't talk like this."
Yeah, that was. She seemed like a seasoned vet
Yes.
because Abby, she's only been there a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think Ella and Whitney's friendship is better now than it was before, and I'm not blaming Catherine. I just think that like now they can be more likable now that they're not like really into they're not, I guess, acting up in Casa more.
Yeah.
I don't really believe Whitney and what's his name though,
Locken?
I keep wanting to say Ella.
You didn't like their date?
I just don't really believe him. I don't know. There's something about them. I don't see chemistry there.
I need more Locken.
I think I would like to see him with someone else. I
think
haven't
I
seen
like
Whitney have
Locken.
chemistry with anybody yet.
No, that's a great point. I mean, she had the most chemistry with Zach for 5 minutes. Remember that? That was short lived.
That was weird.
Right before Casa.
She was horny for him.
Yeah.
I think if you could clear the cache, get rid of those cookies right now, and you could have everyone start over, Whitney would be targeting Zach, no questions asked.
100%.
When he kissed her and then she started trying to go in for more of a kiss, it was like a dog reaching for like more food.
Yeah.
It was like, no, there's no more. I don't have any more food in my hand.
Oh.
Sorry. I don't know. I really didn't like. I still get really annoyed by how I think Klein actually said it best that Whitney speaks in Instagram captions. Were you on this text?
We haven't had much giving this week, I will say.
I'm so sick. Do you think it's because people in the villa might have been like, "Hey, stop saying it's giving"?
I'm hoping that the editors were like, all right, people are kind of getting sick of this this catchphrase.
They started leaning into it with like texts and stuff.
Yeah, they really did. Hashtag it's giving. Yeah, they really did. That's oh god.
I hate it. I just hate it.
It's bad. And then last night, or tonight, I guess it was.
It would technically be tonight, the Friday episode on the Hulu schedule that Dave and I watched illegally on Reddit last night. How did your Reddit experience go?
I bookmarked the site.
I was very worried it wasn't going to work.
No. I figured it out way easier than I thought it was going to be. But pretty much only two things happen, and of course it's Abby, Mitch, Scott, and then Ella too, and Ty, and then you have a recoupling. But Ella, the Ella 2 just out of nowhere pulling Ella one and just dropping that like, yeah, you know, I mean, he said it's a shame that that's going to be the last kiss. Like that seemed like the producers are like, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. That's totally unnecessary.
I need you to really like go poke the bear.
Is anything going to happen with this? Like, no, it doesn't matter, right? I don't think it
It's
matters.
the only thing that it matters for is like the public's
Perception of Ty.
perception of Ty and Ella as a couple.
Does that move?
Because you know, every time they get in a fight, Ty goes over to a daybed with the guys and he's like, "We're done. It's done."
Yeah, yeah.
He says like it's done, and like I don't think it is, dude.
I don't know why I have in my notes. I just have Ty remains hilarious.
He is.
He amuses the fuck out of me.
He is absurd.
I don't know
He
if
is a little bit immature, but it is so funny to watch.
can't say the same for you, big man.
Him and Ella, like they fight like a married couple.
Yeah, it's bad, dude.
It's like
They're toxic. If they were in my friend group and they were always arguing and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, Sally, we can't go out to dinner with them anymore. I'm so sick of it.
Are they the couple that like fights, like argues like that, and then goes home and just like
Ravages
has
each other.
just insane intercourse, and then it's all good?
I think they might
But
be.
they can't do that here.
Yeah. I think they're just edging right now. They're edging their hate sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that happening. They both have really bad attitudes, and I don't mean that in like I don't mean that they're negative people. Like they just have like their attitudes get the best of them. They do not hold back when they talk. I'm scared of Ella. Ella 1.
Me too.
She scares the fuck out of me. If
Yeah.
I was in that villa, I would do everything in my power to not get on her bad side. And then there would be a time where I had all this pent up energy and I finally was like, Ella, stop. Like, and then she'd kill me and I would cry. I'd be on the terrace. Like, I'd be on the terrace with Sally, would have her arm around me, just like petting my head.
I would not want to be on her bad side.
No.
And recoupling, we finally get Scott and Abby.
They're not going to do anything, right? They're going to go home soon, I feel like. I
don't know, man.
I feel like they're going to leave
Scott
it.
effect.
Yeah, but if they do a house vote,
Oh, that's a good point.
if they do it, because like they can't, I guess
They
they
haven't
can't.
done a house vote yet, have they?
They need to do they need to do one of these ones where they have the people up there and they make the most popular couple vote, where they make Zach and Molly vote to like decide who leaves.
Okay.
They have been holstering that a little bit. That's usually a format they love to do to send people home. I feel like we are due for something.
I think that's the only way Scott gets sent home is a house vote.
Yeah.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. But who's Amber with? Oh, she's with Josh. Is it Josh?
Yeah, and
We haven't
Josh.
even talked about him.
Josh is like, dude, he's like, I'm 26 and I work in finance. Like, I don't need to be with a 19-year-old right now.
Why? It's strange to me that he's not more entertaining her.
Dude, she needs to go home. She's I think they had Gemma views, like hopes for her, and it's just not panning out like Gemma. It's just not.
Yeah, I don't get it.
She seems more 19 than Gemma seemed. Gemma seemed like she was 23. This girl seems 19. She might seem 17 at some points where I'm just like, what? She was upset one day and she ran over to Jess to talk to her. And I looked at Sally and I was like, this conversation's going down. Like, this girl has no good friends in the villa and she just needs someone to talk to. And she just looked at Jess as like being the nicest person who wouldn't just tell her to shut the fuck up.
Are you talking about Gemma Owen?
Yeah.
Not from last season, though.
Yeah, from last season.
I don't think she was on last season. The Gemma Owen, I've never seen this woman in my life.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gemma. Oh, my bad. I mixed up last season with the season before. Gemma was on the season that Dylan and I were watching that we decided we had to tell you. And her dad was a professional soccer player, very famous.
Right.
And she was really good. And everyone liked her on the show, but she seemed way older. Her dad was also way more famous than Amber Wise's dad.
Okay. Yeah. Josh doesn't have anything really that sticks out to me. He's got good hair. He looks like what I imagine a finance guy in England would look like.
He's a little more fashion forward than I expected based on some of the outfits that he's put on.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I think
He knew his job. He had to go in. He was going to take one shot with Jess. And if it landed, it landed. It didn't land.
There was a second where I thought it might land.
I was confused by that. I was
brief
like,
second.
I was like, what are you doing?
She
Jess?
finally smarted up and was like, I got to go nix this.
But Mitch did the opposite. So now Mitch and Abby appear to be donezo.
I'm fine with that. I think that makes sense for both of them. I think Mitch needs to go with Ella B. If you told me early on in the season that Mitch is going to fumble numerous women and then end up with a championship winning dancer, I'd be like, you know what? I'm okay with that journey for Mitch. It sounds like fun.
You know, you know what his game is? He loves sitting there in the daybed when he's talking to her and be like, "Your outfit looks amazing right now," and I'm like, "Dude, it's not that amazing. It is just a bathing suit, pretty much with a cover up. It's not amazing."
I'm worried that Mitch might be really dumb.
I think he is. I think he's like a golden retriever.
I think he is too. There was a
Not that
scenario.
they're dumb.
There
Sorry,
was a
Randy.
scenario in Unseen Bits where they were trying to talk out. They had moved the bean bags from one area to another area, and everyone noticed it and was talking about it. Mitch had no clue they were moved. And they were like, they're in a different area. And he's like, he didn't understand. He's like, they're in the same area. And everyone's like even Ty was just like, dude, Mitch, bro, stop. Like you're like them trying to explain it to him and he just wasn't getting it.
I love that.
I was like, the producers did not need the editing team did not need to include this like Mitch looking this dumb on camera.
It's great.
Should we do a little bit of Snog Mary Pie?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna snog new Ella.
Oh,
I'm gonna give her a warm welcome into the villa.
Oh wow.
And she's cute. So what's the harm?
I'm gonna snog old Ella just to keep the peace.
I'd have to get on my tiptoes to snog her, I fear.
Yeah. Oh, she does look tall.
Yeah.
What is she?
If she was wearing
she's
heels,
probably
I'd have to be on my
5'10".
tiptoes.
She looks 5'9".
Oh, yeah, she's a model, straight up.
There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, we're the Ella snogging boys.
That's fine. Got to keep the peace.
I'm going to marry. Oh man, this is hard. This is hard. You know what? I'm gonna marry Jess. She needs a win right now. I want to be consistency for her in her life. Sammy's not giving it to her.
I could see Jess being a good person to live with.
She'd be a fun mom.
She's fun.
She'd be a fun mom.
I like that. I'm going to marry Whitney.
Really? It's giving wedding bells?
Just because I don't think I've included her in one of these yet this season, and I don't think she's that into locking,
Okay.
from what I can tell.
Okay.
And I don't know. She's calmed down on the it's giving. She's no longer doing Instagram speak like Klein said. I'm going to give her a chance.
Okay.
And honestly, like I'm thinking of like other people that I've already chosen, and they just they wouldn't be good. Like I think I picked Abby last week.
Whitney's grown on me in general.
Abby had a
But I
bad
was pretty
week.
down on Whitney for a little bit in the beginning when she wouldn't
too.
stop saying it's giving, and I didn't believe her relationship with Medi.
No,
Just didn't believe
that
it.
for sure. But her stock's up. Abby's stock down. And I'm pieing. It would be easy to pie Abby. She's got enough problems.
Yeah. I almost don't want to pie her. I don't want to kick her while she's down.
I'm gonna mercy pie Amber.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to
And
do.
it's not anything she's done. I really like her. She seems like a sweet girl, but she's just like, what's going on here?
I was going to mercy pie Amber as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercy pie. No one's doing that.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. I'm tired, man.
You gotta go to lunch.
The Love Island boys take no days off. I think you should. I think going forward, I'm always going to watch Unseen Bits.
It probably helps with the product. It helps understand some context and
I think
maybe
it
why
does.
people react certain ways towards some people.
It's pretty entertaining. And something else I learned in Unseen Bits to close things out is that I was very surprised at, or not surprised. It was interesting to see that since they can't play music, they will just sing together while getting ready. That's brutal.
Is it true that when they do like the dance, like lap dance stuff and all that, they're not actually playing music, or are they?
So Sally and I tried to figure this out.
They have to, right?
I think they used to not. I think they do play music now.
Because that's horrifying.
You can't just hear like if a girl comes out in like a sexy nurse outfit with like patent leather, you can't just hear that patent leather squeaking on some dude's crotch. Like that's weird for everybody.
Can you? Oh my God! Can you imagine being in the villa without a Bluetooth speaker?
No.
What a disaster!
No.
Like,
Wouldn't it be weird to be poolside for that long and not have a Bluetooth speaker?
Yeah, it would be very weird.
I don't get it.
I hate it.
I don't get it. All right. We'll see you guys next week for the Love Island boys.
Bye bye.